Hi there, this is Gary MacDougall here, and what I want to talk to you about today is a little bit about my process. Talk about that process, but really get into following your destiny, like really following your destiny in this life, so that you know you're following your destiny when you feel alive. There's a flow to life. There's synchronicity, and yeah. So just as I've reawakened in these past couple of years, I say reawakened because I've been on a spiritual path for quite some time and kind of went through this period of like lullness where I felt like there was a struggle in my life. I felt like, yeah, I just felt like I was feeling dead and bored, but really like how to reignite that passion where you feel alive. Like a lot of people, a lot of people in like that we know have lived really alive lives, when they feel really alive and they're feeling really passionate. And we know a lot of people like this. But there's also people that we're running into that are struggling in their relationships. They're struggling, with their jobs, with their decisions in life. Like they just feel like there's a struggle and they just wonder, like, is this really what life is about? And I really believe, like, if we're living our destiny, we're following our heart, following our path, that life really isn't that much of a struggle. We can feel alive and there's a flow to things and things just fall into place. So I really want to talk about like following your destiny when you know you're on your path, and really just touch upon some of the things. And so how I come upon these things is I sit and I meditate every day, and I highly recommend people to do this. One, meditate, or just sit with a pen and paper and just start clearing out your thoughts, clearing out your feelings. Like really look inside your heart, and really just clear things out. Because what I find is I have these hits of like intuitions, whether they be, I really feel like it's like this downloaded information, or I'm receiving this information from spirit, whether it be from the earth, the spirits in this plane, animals, plants in this plane, or even like from the stars and heavens above. And I think about the song by Coldplay right now, Sky Full of Stars. Love that song. I think we all have the stars in the sky and the energy above us and below us, and those energies come through us. We are the stars are us, we affect them, they affect us. And I think that's what the ancients really were trying to teach us when they put up ancient sites and stuff. So a little bit about this week, about where synchronicity took me when I followed my process of going inwards and I follow my passions. And the first thing I saw this week, I watched this video by Graham Hancock, and it was on ancient civilizations. And what was fascinating about it was, and Egypt just keeps coming to me. Just I'm really drawn to Egypt right now. And he just talks about how he was talking about how the Sphinx faces east, and the sun comes up in the east on the spring equinox, and the sun goes right over the Sphinx's head. And historically we're told that this was put there 3,000 4,000 years ago. That's what historically that's what we're taught about the Sphinx. But what he goes into, and he said geologists there, and they showed there's weather patterns on it, and there's water patterns that it would have been through like some heavy duty rain and stuff, and there hasn't been rain in the last 4,000 years in Egypt. So he's kind of pointing to, so he drew the conclusion that it was older than it was. But he said, why is the Sphinx facing east? Why is it facing east, he said, in this movie, in the ancient civilizations. I highly recommend this movie to everybody. Why does it face east? And so he looked at the precession of the equinoxes. And I'm not an astrologer, but it's fascinating stuff when I get into this, and it really brings me a lot of information about personal growth and about my own growth and knowing yourself. And I highly recommend everybody get into astrology and into knowing your birth sign and knowing who you truly are, because who I am and who you are completely different people according to how the planets, how the stars affect us and stuff. But what he found, the conclusion he came to, was that Sphinx was put there like over 12,000 years ago, because in the east, when the sun comes up in the east on the spring equinox, the Sphinx is facing itself in the sky, the star system of Leo. And when I saw this, I thought, if it's 10,500 years old, what got me excited about that is I've been talking about the photon band. And the last time that society, the last time that humanity, our solar system, people on Earth went through the photon band, the golden age, I think people were more highly evolved spiritually. They're more connected to the stars, more connected to the earth, and they had that connection, and they used that connection not just to know that they came from the stars, not just to know that when they died they went back to the stars, but I think they used that connection. I've been saying this. They've been using that connection with their bodies, with their souls, to create a better life on this earth. That we could live abundantly on this earth, or prosperous, and people could prosper, because they had that connection from the stars. They were getting that guidance from that higher guidance beyond, five sense reality, our thinking and our feeling, into our souls. We were getting that guidance, like how we could create a society where everybody thrived. And I think we're coming back into that photon band now. So ancient civilizations, Graham Hancock, he talked about that. What was also fascinating is he also noticed that in Angkor Wat in Cambodia, that if you look at Angkor Wat, which is this other ancient civilization, this other like temple, it's massive. And it mimics, all the sites mimic the stars. So he just keeps on going to these ancient civilizations all over the world, and they all coincide with different star systems in the sky. So are we really further along now, I ask myself? Like, are we more highly evolved than they were 12,000, 15,000 years ago on Earth? Or have we kind of gone through the dark ages and gotten greedy and destroyed the Earth? And like, have we gone savage a little bit? That's what I question. So really what I ask God or I ask the creator of this universe, I ask the stars, I ask the earth, is really to guide me for freedom, to help me feel free and alive, and to really understand all this stuff. And where do we go? So my next question was, where do we go wrong? So I asked that question, but I also had that question after watching the movie Thrive, because in Thrive they talk about these few families, this Illuminati or cabal. It's kind of scary stuff when I first saw it. And you start understanding it. It's a little bit overwhelming. I was a little bit scared. So I felt these feelings, but I felt like they were just going back to the 1800s when these families started controlling things and started like controlling, say, they own big companies that are in control of farming, and they control our banking system and the Federal Reserve. And they talk about all this stuff and how they control us, and I felt pretty overwhelmed because I don't like to be controlled. I have issues with authority, and well, I used to anyway. But now it's really like, so I really felt like I wondered if it really just started a couple hundred years ago, if it started further back. So where I felt guided this week was I watch YouTube a lot when I get inspired, and I felt guided to watch this guy Santos Bonacci. And what was fascinating about him, and this is what it tied a lot of things together. He talked a little bit about back 2,000 years ago. He wonders if he basically what does he say? He basically says like did Jesus even live on the earth? Like, he studies the sky, he gets into astrotheology, and he talks about how the Bible really sounds to him more like it's just a story of the stars, and you really have to watch his videos to get into that. I don't want to get into that too much, but where it really fascinated me was one of his heroes, or one of these guys that he reads, that really got into the stars and following yourself and knowing the self, and is this guy that he was really inspired by, was this guy named Giordano Bruno, and he was an Italian philosopher. And this guy was alive in the 1500s, early 16, or he was burned at the stake in the 1600s. And what inspired him about this guy, and what really kind of connected the dots for me, was this guy talked about how if we were going to have harmony on this earth again, if we were going to live alive, feel alive and live awesome lives, is we had to get back into astrology. We had to get back into living in a way like the Egyptians did. And when Santos Bonacci said that, I was like, whoa, I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. And here's the dots are getting connected for me. And so yeah, there's just a whole lot of synchronicity happening that way. So just to summarize, like, do we really need to go backwards and learn from the past, or do we just need to be inspired here and now by the ancient ones that prayed above, that prayed to the spirits above and prayed to the spirits below for guidance, for help, to teach us how to live, that we can be guided through our souls? Do we really need to read more books, or do I need to look at more YouTube videos? They certainly do inspire me, but I think ultimately each and every one of us is the solution right now. Each and every one of us looks inside, follows our hearts, follows our passion, follows that guidance, and we start taking action in ways that benefits all of humanity, benefits the earth, benefits the one, like all living things. I talk about God being, the body of God being all living things. If we start acting in a way that benefits all living things, like, I truly believe that we can create a society that is healthy, that lives prosperously and honors all living things. So yeah, it's really exciting time. Scary at times, overwhelming at times. So what I pray for people out there, I want to really acknowledge some, like, even the wars that are going on right now, or all the fear-based stuff we see on TV. We don't watch as much TV, barely any TV anymore, just because there's so much fear-based stuff. Never watch the news. Not because I don't want to be oblivious to what's going on in the world, but because that's not really my world. We don't have wars here that the solution I want to be a part of isn't fear-based, it's love-based. And I trust that if I follow my love, and that if you follow your love, and let's say 7 billion people on this planet followed their love, that this world would be a better place and that we could be prosperous. I know that. We are creators. We can create the reality that we truly desire. And yeah, if we just truly follow our hearts and really follow all of our bodies, listen to all the signs, that there is a formula to manifesting a great life. We just, we really take time to listen to the whispers of the heart. Gandhi kind of, I first heard listen to the whispers of your heart from Deepak Chopra, but I read a quote by Gandhi. He used to do that, drive people crazy, because people were like, come on, we got to take action. He's like, no, my spirit's not saying that, and some of the old wise Indians I used to listen to, there'd be some craziness going on, and they're like, the spirits aren't saying anything. People go crazy. If we all just listen to the whispers in our heart, I know, and if each one of us, listens to that we're being guided by love, we're being guided by the earth, we're being guided by the stars above, that those forces are in us. Get to the point. The point is the world would be a better place. So I'm following my heart, feeling alive, feeling awesome, and I hope you are too. Lots of love, peace, word.